Good afternoon and welcome to the SAP Roadmap for Utilities Industry Keynote. I'm pleased to introduce you to our speakers who are part of our Utilities IBU leadership with a wealth of insight to share with you all. We have Holger Schweinfurt, Senior Director, SAP IBU Utilities, and Dr. Stefan Engelhardt, Global Vice President, Go-to-Market Strategy, SAP IBU Utilities. I know they'll give you a great perspective on the utilities roadmap. And over to you, Holger.
Thank you very much, Michael, for the introduction. And yes, welcome to this session of the SAP Roadmap for the Utilities Industry. As said, this is Stefan Engelhardt and Holger Schweinfurt out of the Industry Business Unit Utilities. And we will guide you through a couple of things that you can also see here on the agenda of today's roadmap session for the utilities industry. After really a short, quick introduction into our observation of the global market trends within the industry, we'll talk about the overall strategy of SAP in the utilities industry, how we have broken that down into the different bits and pieces, the different solutions that we have. Of course, one of the key aspects here is the topic around S/4HANA utilities. It is, of course, also the major investment that we are currently doing on cloud for utilities. And by the very end, you also have the possibility to discuss with us your questions. Of course, you can also address any kind of questions throughout the presentation in the chat, and we are more than happy to talk about that at the end of the presentation. Having said that, let's directly jump into the first topic of the observation on the global market trends within the industry. And we split that into different pieces, as you can see here, on industry trends, vision, and strategic priorities that result out of the first two aspects. And one of the major things that we have been observing for many, many years and that are still very present in almost any markets across the globe is the changing market dynamics. That is something that we have been observing for many, many years with new regulatory requirements being imposed into different type of markets, whether it's deregulated, regulated, but of course, in particular, the competitive market environment. And one of the visions where we would like to go to, and you will also hear a couple of words on that topic specifically, on how to cope with these market requirements in our solution portfolio by supporting really a good and efficient processing of any kind of market interaction, market messaging in between the different market participants. Another aspect that we have been also observing many, many years is the transformation from the, I would say, classical meter as a prime entity in the utilities industry into the prosumers. The customer, the prosumer, is in the center of everything. We see a lot of new requirements, let it be from the decentralized energy generation to the need of having commodity and non-commodity products. And we have also seen already a couple of great presentations in today's session. So that is definitely also one of the key aspects that we need to consider. And in the vision of 2025, of course, to support our customers, the control of the volatility and affordability of the supplier in power, in electricity, and other divisions. I've already mentioned the aspect of decentralized power generation, and in here the renewables energy generation is one of the key aspects. We have been observing that also for many, many years now, and that is definitely something that will support also for the next generation of our industry-specific applications within SAP, and also to guarantee our customers the sustainable energy and water operations in this context. And last but not least, everybody is talking about digitalization, but what it actually also means in the context of security. We see here definitely the aspect of threatening security with the many, many devices out in the field, the growing connectivity, Of course, it allows also the vulnerable cyber attacks that are quite obvious that we have seen in some country, and therefore, and I guess you also know about this aspect, it's not only GDPR, DPP compliances within the European territory, but it's across all the SAP applications that the topic of security is one of the key aspects that we are considering in all of our product development. And as said, out of that, you can see the strategic priorities that we have also defined here for the utilities industry on the possibility of exploring new revenue streams. We've heard from many customers who asked us about new ways of making money. And as said, we have seen some great examples already of leveraging the possibility of combining the commodity and non-commodity products, bringing that in a fast time to market, but also to maintain, to optimize all your heavy assets, all your infrastructure in a quite efficient manner. The aspect of regulatory compliance and security, I've already talked about that. And of course, the intimacy of the customer relationship that we need to have. Having said that, let's transit that into the overall strategy of SAP for the utilities industry a bit. And I guess most of you have seen this burger strategy already. We have seen that in Miguel's keynote this morning. We have also seen it in the past for many SAP presentations. It's really the overall SAP strategy. And by no means here any kind of industry-specific topic included yet. It consists of different layers here. Of course, the very important pieces on Intelligence Suite, on Industry Cloud. We'll come to that in much more details in a few seconds. Surrounded by experience management. Of course, the integration, the connectivity to other market participants, to collaborative interaction with suppliers, with other companies across the market is one of the key aspects here in the business network. And of course, the topic around the sustainability is omnipresent with Climate 21 and many other initiatives going on. All of that and a very crucial part here on the business technology platform, not only for the sheer integration, but also for doing extensions, for leveraging new technologies on machine learning, on artificial intelligence, etc., and where we are also building many new solutions. Having said that, let's turn that into the industry-specific content and what it actually means for us in the utilities industry. And you can see we split that into the two major parts here on the application side. On the left, you can see the Intelligence Suite for utilities. On the right, the Industry Cloud for utilities. And again, by no means this is a separated world, one from each other. It is tightly integrated. And that is one of the most emphasized development aspects that we have been considering over the past years. That this piece of integration is fundamental, not only in between the cloud-to-cloud components that we are bringing to the market. And you will hear a couple of much more detailed information from Stefan later on, but especially also for the integration between the industry cloud applications in the public cloud environment and the Intelligence Suite to be deployed in cloud, but also for an on-prem environment. And that is really the perfect starting point also for a transition into the cloud world. But let me just spend a few words here on the Intelligence Suite for utilities. You can see numerous of applications, such as the customer experience part with all the sales service marketing pieces. And again, by no means this is separated from S/4HANA utilities that can be deployed in an on-prem or cloud environment. We are providing already in this context very tight integration scenarios, for example, for leveraging customer data in marketing campaigns, for doing any fast time to market for new products and services. with a tight integration in S/4HANA utilities for the creation of the respective master data. So these two examples already illustrate the importance and relevance of the integration between these solutions as such. Of course, there are many other pieces that can be considered in this context. I've just listed a couple of those examples that are of high relevance for the utilities industry, such as revenue management, service management, asset management. I think you have also heard this morning that we are significantly investing in field service management. I would also recommend to listen to one of my colleagues' presentation on this topic because it provides also much more information. So all of that are part of the intelligence suite for utilities. On the other hand, we have our industry cloud for utilities. And in here, you can see numerous of different building blocks. It's not only SAP applications, but it's also partner applications. And I think you will also hear some great examples throughout the next couple of days on how partners have extended these applications that reside on the SAP Business Technology platform. But of course, also SAP provides numerous of applications on our own, such as the topics of the CloudVerities Foundation. We'll hear about that a lot more in Stefan's part. Of course, also about the market communication cloud, specifically also for the German territory, but also many other things on subscription billing, cloud for energy, predictive asset insights. So you can see numerous of different applications, and as said, all tightly integrated in between. For example, if we consider Cloud for Energy as the metering platform for storing any type of metering information, time series, as well as discrete readings, and once it is being due for billing, and you want to leverage your S/4HANA utilities environment, as said, either in a on-premise or in a private cloud environment, we offer a native-like integration for requesting the relevant billing information from S/4HANA utilities into Cloud for Energy to calculate the billing determinants. This is just one example on how we leverage the existing solutions in combination with these new industry cloud solutions for utilities. Having said that, let's jump a little bit more in the details and break that a little bit more down into some of the bits and pieces, with focusing on this application layer here between the intelligence suite, S/4HANA utilities, and the industry cloud solutions. And as I've already mentioned, one of the pieces within S/4HANA utilities is the industry-specific solution that we have extended, that we have innovated with many things that you can see here on the left side. Whether it's any kind of user experience, the new Fiori roles for the different markets, roles that we have on metering, on billing, on asset management, etc. The embedded analytics for the entire meter-to-cash process. New things on billing and invoicing, specifically also through our ongoing customer connection programs or projects. New technologies on machine learning, for example, the handling of implausible meter readings or outsorted billing documents through machine learning scenarios. But of course, also this topic around cloud integration. And I have mentioned that several times, but I think it is very important to iterate that several times here in order to really stress the relevance of the integration between these intelligence suite components on S/4HANA and the new cloud applications that we are bringing to the market. And last but not least, of course, our customer engagement, where we have also heard great customer presentations as the successor of the famous CAC0 transaction for handling any kind of customer interactions in a quite modern environment based on the S/4HANA platform. On the other hand, we have the transformation topic, the new things that we are bringing to the market with this industry cloud for utilities solution portfolio. And you can see here really a mixture of different topics around the various transformation areas that we are supporting, whether it's asset management, energy and markets, customer, or the service part. And I think I have mentioned a couple of those already, and you will also hear some great examples later on how we have brought all these pieces together and what it actually means to also serve an end-to-end processes with these industry cloud solutions, also in combination with the S/4HANA utilities. Let's focus a little bit on the topic of S/4HANA utilities, the innovations and roadmap at a glance. And this is a slide that I have created some time ago, but I think it really reflects and it provides a little bit more detailed information about what we have actually brought to the market over the course of years. As said, with S/4HANA utilities being the flagship in the intelligence suite here, you can see the numerous of examples that I have also mentioned in the previous slide already, but it's just a broken down of the different releases that we have shipped to the market, already starting back 6 years or 5.5 years ago, November 2015, with the availability of our industry-specific solution as part of S/4HANA, and then over the course of years, really innovated with different pieces. And you can see here the latest major shipment back in 2020 with several things on Fiori, on the integration part, on the customer engagement, etc., etc. And behind each of those, you will find much more detailed information that you will guide you through our roadmaps tool that I will show and explain you in a couple of seconds. Before doing so, I just want to provide you, and we are talking here about the roadmaps. We are talking here about the future. Of course, the past was also quite important and also to understand the overall strategy. But I think this is really something that we are also planning in our dual strategy, in our B model strategy here, continuously investing in the S/4HANA utilities part. And you can see here quite a dedicated roadmap already for 21 and 22, but at the same time, investing heavily in the cloud for utilities part. And yeah, as it is outlined, and I do not want to go into too much details here, we have already had the first couple of shipments earlier this year in February 21 for a couple of things on the S/4HANA part, the extensibility concept, but also many, many other things that are resulting out of the standard development, but also through our customer connection project. For example, the bill simulation for multiple rates, one of the famous things that many, many customers have voted for, as well as the reloading or the optimization of the archived profile values in SAP EDM. But it's not the end, as I said. Throughout May, we will ship some more innovations. And you can see there is also much available here for the end of the year, for Q4 21, as well as for 22 and beyond. So it's really a dedicated roadmap that we have, not only for the smaller pieces, but also for the very large ones here in the context of S/4HANA. With that, I would like to show you also some information in the tool of the Roadmap Explorer that is available for public access. So you can just type roadmaps.sap.com and you can select the utilities industry in here, and you can already see a quite comprehensive list of different applications. But for example, we've been talking quite a lot about the S/4HANA. So it also has a smart search in here where you can select the S/4HANA topic, but that may be not enough for me. I would like to focus maybe on the bill to cash business topic. So you get many information about the bill to cash. But for example, you also want to limit that to a certain period in time. Let's say I want to do that for only some past topics here for Q4 2016 to Q3 2017. And in here you can go in the details of the different pieces of the different innovations. You can see some of the topics that I have mentioned on S/4HANA utilities, the analytics part. You can see some description, some benefits, but I think in here you can see lots of information about what kind of analytical capabilities do we have for device management, for ISU billing. You can see some technical views where you get some details here, as well as some capability views. That is just one example how that can look like. And if we just open up another example here on the Fiori apps, and of course, visualization is very important in this context. You can also see here already some nice screenshots, but of course, you can also see here in the features and functions some demos. You can see some help documents, some presentations, as well as some recordings. So that is a really nice tool on how to explore the different bits and pieces that we have in our industry, in our utilities industry. Of course, you can also filter that according to specific areas of interest. For example, one of the topics that I have mentioned was the cloud for energy topic, and I just need to point. Just a moment. No, that doesn't look good. As an example, I will look in here. No, it will not allow me for whatever reasons. I'm sorry about that. Let's start it again.
There's still a filter on the date, I believe.
Yep, no, okay. So you can see here, we have the different topics for Cloud for Energy in here, where you can also search for different products and innovations that we have. But moreover, you can also have a look on the different products that are listed. Cloud for Energy is in here, but you can also see the filter for Cloud for Utilities, and then you get some much more detailed information about this Cloud for Utilities program. And with that, I would like to hand over to Stefan for taking us through the topics of Cloud for Utilities. Stefan, can you unmute yourself?
So, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And see my screen as well.
Yep.
Okay, so thank you very much, Holger, for the bridge. Stefan Engelhardt, my name. Welcome from my side as well to this session about our keynote. And I will talk a little bit in our second part, as Holger mentioned, about our Cloud for Utilities program. And as a starting point, I would like to emphasize again, sorry, it's not moving here. I have a delay here in my slides. I would like to emphasize again what Cloud for Utilities is all about. So we got a lot of questions about that, and there's some uncertainty, some unclarity, obviously, in the market, what we mean when we talk about Cloud for Utilities. I think my colleagues, Steen Hansen and Holger and Horst Neunaber did as well a great presentation this morning, but I want to repeat a little bit for all of us that we have the same starting point in our understanding. Cloud for Utilities is not a dedicated product. It's a program, and it's probably one of the biggest development programs that SAP has launched in utilities since we started our industry-specific developments back in the 90s. So it's a program that is addressing the utility-specific processes in order to provide a cloud-based alternative to our on-premise solutions. We are not substituting the on-premise solutions per se. We are complementing them as a first step. We offer as well new products that may substitute elements or parts of the on-premise solution, depending a little bit on the market prioritization and as well on the specific pace of the individual customer who want to use it. But at the end of the day, it has to be understood as a program that provides a suite of applications in the cloud. And a very important pillar in that architecture is our S/4HANA utilities portfolio, which we can provide as well in a subscription-based offering. We'll talk about it in a minute. We're complementing that, as I said, with new cloud solutions that we already have available as generic versions. We invest a lot of effort in making them relevant for our industry in order to provide, for instance, utility-specific content for marketing, sales, service, for billing, for other topics that are specific to our industry. And we have a dedicated roadmap in that regard. So that is a journey that will last for 2 to 3 years until we are where we want to be. But we already achieved a lot in the last 1.5 to 2 years because the program started already in 2019. The first focus was on retail processes because there we saw the biggest demand in at our customers with the wish to transform many of their business processes in a cloud offering because we have so much speed, so much differentiating factors there, so much pressure as well, competitive pressure that require fast innovation. So we put an initial focus on that, but Cloud for Utilities focuses as well on the other market roles. So it's not only the retailer that you have in space. Important to understand is as well that we do that together with the market. So we have a group of co-innovation customers that help us to specify, to understand the market demand, to prioritize it in the right way. That is an open group that is existing since 2 years now and provides us with a lot of very substantial information about our development roadmap. So that is Cloud for Utilities. The background and the solution architecture, the principle of Cloud for Utilities is to provide a modular solution architecture that adapts to the needs of a modern utility. The basic idea is that we leverage existing cloud components and existing products that we have and that we can make available in the cloud, that we expand them from a functional perspective, but keep the modularity of the approach. That means we provide a lot of integration content that connects these different solution components in order to provide an end-to-end experience. But that allows as well our customers to decide which parts of this modular architecture they intend to use. Our attempt is, of course, to offer an end-to-end, but that can be as well, parts of this end-to-end process can be as well provided by third-party applications because the integration and the interfaces we are building as part of this development are very open and are published to everybody. The basic idea is we have a business technology platform that provides the technical infrastructure with all the tools that are required to build modern cloud solutions on top, to connect as well existing solutions with each other, and to extend as well the scope from an operational and perspective. Because when you have a modular architecture, you need to have an instance that orchestrates as well the end-to-end process across the different components. So on top of that platform, we have a service delivery element or service delivery modules that support more or less the backend features, the backend processes, billing, revenue management, energy data management, for instance, provided by the Cloud for Energy, as Holger has shown, market communication, a very important topic for utilities in liberalized markets as a service, or the fulfillment of orders. And for utilities who are in a competitive environment, particularly the retailers, we complement that solution then by industry-specific front-end solutions that support the customer centricity of the business in order to define products and product bundles as fast as possible, to connect with customers and to sell via any kind of channel, to automate processes with self-service, with automated self-services and any kind of integration that is necessary to the customer front end. So that is the building block of the Cloud for Utilities architecture. And as I said, that brings together a lot of different functional components as at SAP, with the goal to provide an end-to-end experience for the key processes in the utility. An important pillar of that architecture, as I said, is our S/4HANA Utility Suite, which is already existing and that we offer as well as a private cloud edition on a subscription basis. So that means you can consume the utility solution based on S/4HANA in the cloud, and you can complement that solutions with native cloud components that are tightly integrated to that. That gives the advantage that our customers can decide which parts of their business they want to move to which point in time in a native cloud environment, where they want to stay maybe in an existing solution suite that of course works as well with an on-premise S/4HANA version, because that is technically the same code line. So the connection of S/4HANA utilities, for instance, to marketing, to commerce, to sales is directly supported by that, and so works in the cloud and as well in the on-premise suite. We have as well already confirmed that the maintenance of this back end, of this backbone of the CloudVerities Foundation will be guaranteed until 2040. So that is a long commitment, and you see there's a lot of investment we put in that. So we have a lot of plans as well to further extend the functional scope of S/4HANA utilities. But we will equally invest as well in developing additional cloud solutions that complement the S/4HANA suite, and in order to support as well on a midterm perspective, a complete native cloud architecture. You will see that in a minute. So important to orchestrate an end-to-end process across these different modular pillars. For that orchestration, it's of course necessary to have on one hand side the right technology that is provided to a large extent by our business process technology platform, with cloud platform integration with other services that we can leverage. But on top of that, we need more to really make sure that a process flows from an end to end, let's say from lead to cash for utility. And therefore we decided to invest in a new product that we are bringing to the market pretty soon, planned in June, that helps to orchestrate exactly that business process orchestration. But it's not only an orchestration engine, it helps as well to ensure data consistency between different cloud solutions, and it provides some specific industry applications that you would not find in any of the other applications, such as, for instance, the definition of dedicated measurement concepts. So this is a requirement that the German market, for instance, has, but many other asset-focused market rules require that as well. So that is a defined way, a standardized way to define and model your measurement infrastructure. And that is not only relevant for classical meters, but as well for distributed energy resource assets that needs to be organized. For instance, you can leverage that as well to manage photovoltaic panels or installation structures that support a prosumer service, for instance, from a technical perspective. So this is all part of this, what we call the CloudVerities Foundation. It is a foundational element that helps to orchestrate and connect different cloud solutions via open standards in order to support an end-to-end orchestration of the processes, an end-to-end data integration. And it is as well supporting prospectively the connection to third-party solutions, because you could use this the functionality and the skill set as well of this foundation to embed a third-party component in this architecture. That is a long-term plan. So that brings together all the different solutions we are offering. It combines private cloud offerings with native cloud solutions, and the CloudVerities Foundation will be at the end of the day as well the core element of our native cloud architecture that Horst and Stier already outlined this morning. Short view on the roadmap to as well complete that. So you see there's a lot of activity and a lot of stuff planned for the cloud for utilities. That is actually until the end of 21. It's a plan that you see here, but we have, of course, much more in mind. But this is the most detailed stuff. You see there's a lot of stuff we already developed. You see here, for instance, the CloudVerities Foundation and the first services and processes we're supporting with that. You see the steps we're making in the market communication in order to support the different market roles. and as well the dedicated developments we're doing in the billing and revenue management side, which gets as well more and more important when we talk as well about the next step in moving to a native cloud environment. So that is the focus in 21 is still to a large extent on supporting what we call the hybrid architecture, where we still have S/4HANA as the backbone to support many of the industry-specific processes, but again, can run in the cloud or on-premise. And it will be as well the foundation for the developments that we do after 21, where we focus very much then on developing as well the native cloud architecture of cloud for utilities. That means complementing further solutions with native cloud offerings, for instance, as well, the industry-specific billing, the industry-specific revenue management, supported by the CloudVerities Foundation to support an end-to-end processing. This is the development focus of the time after 2021. We already started 2021 with that, with the first result by end of the year, but the big focus will be in 2022. Yeah, finally, to come a little bit as well to RISE. How does RISE now plays into the play? We already heard about RISE in various presentations, but of course, Cloud for Utilities is as well embedded in the RISE offering, because RISE is all about helping our customers to transform their business in the cloud. And of course, the Cloud for Utilities bringing together elements of the intelligence suite and industry cloud components is a pillar of that strategy. And we have developed in a dedicated offering some very specific features and as well as services to support the move of our customers from the installed base landscapes into new cloud versions. We have a dedicated presentation tomorrow about that, tomorrow morning, where we talk about our RISE offering. Therefore, I will skip some of the slides for the sake of time, so that we have as well some time for discussion. To summarize, key takeaways, you have seen our industry roadmap, and hopefully it came across that SAP massively invests bi-modally. We're investing in the intelligence suite, in on-premise solutions, equally as in cloud-based solutions and industry cloud components. We are putting a lot of effort in bringing these two worlds together in order to support a very tailored way to deploy these solutions according to your own business pace and your own business priorities. So we do offer a lot of possibilities in which way you can move and transform your business into the cloud, whether you want to stay with some elements on premise, go in the cloud or not. This is something we're supporting with this whole roadmap. The investment is secured. I talked about the long-term commitment we made in the market. Cloud for Utilities for us a very important investment in the future offering of SAP, complementing what we already have with the S/4HANA Utility Suite and bringing that to the next level, and supported with dedicated business transformation services that support you in the way how you transform in the cloud environment. Okay, with that, Michael, back to you to check whether we have some questions.
Yes, indeed. Stefan and Holger, thank you for that very insightful session. There are some questions. Let me try and represent those to you. First question, we understand that SAP Macau is currently available only for German market. What is SAP's plan to extend the same as industry cloud for global customers?
The SAP Macau, you mean?
Macau, excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, the cloud for market communication is right. So we have put a first focus on the German market with that offering, but the plan is as well to offer that to other market areas, a little bit depending on the demand, because developing market communications as a service is a huge investment, but we see a lot of potential here, and that is probably the best example of a software as a service solution. So we see other markets that we are exploring. We see UK, we see Australia, New Zealand as potential market areas. So that is in the discussion. The basic idea is that we provide a framework that we can use for every market, and that we then further standardize and localize for the dedicated market requirements. That is definitely planned.
Good. Does SAP ISU change its data model and bring full contract and customer objects in it? Or have we to acquire additional services to get it?
Do you want to take that, Holger?
Yeah, I can take that. When we ported our industry-specific solution on S/4HANA, we have not changed the data objects. We have not changed the table structure. So that is remaining in the same manner as you are used to before. However, there are also, of course, many country-specific extensions that we have seen, specifically in the German market, but also some other regions that we are supporting. For the new cloud solutions, we have proceeded, obviously, a different path. For the hybrid scenarios, we are integrating the ISU data model with the data objects from the native cloud solutions. For example, and I can again name that in here, Cloud for Energy is based on the SIM data model that we are integrating with the ISU data model. So it's a complete new data model in this context. But for the entire orchestration, as Stefan has outlined on the Cloud4Utilities Foundation, it is very important to have this control mechanism that allows you to get the relevant master data out of the different solutions in order to orchestrate this end-to-end processing, 4 meter to cache, 4 lead to cache, etc. So I would also answer that in a B model way, as our industry roadmap is designed. The S/4HANA objects are untouched. In Cloud4Utilities, we are proceeding a new path here.
Thanks, Holger. Another question. In Brazil, we have a lot of companies which are running with ISU CCS already involving millions of customers. What's your experience concerning a strategy for the migration for SAP C4U?
Well, actually, I mean, we are going to support the migration from the current landscape into Cloud4Utilities, and part of that is included in our RISE offering. So that business transformation services we intend to provide with that. But in general, I think the question is, first of all, what is the target system? I mean, we got a lot of customers who would like to stay let's say in the current industry add-on, but maybe just move that in the cloud. And for that, the typical transformation path would be to move from an ECC-based system into the S/4HANA private cloud, for instance. For that, we have dedicated transformation services that support this requirement. In addition, when we face as well the transformation from the current ISU system based on ECC in a Cloud4Utilities environment, in a native cloud, that comes with a bigger change management effort, of course, like with any other cloud solution as well, because there you touch as well massively the processes. When you go from ECC to S4, you have the choice. You can keep most of your processes as they are designed today in your business, or you can extend them and transform them into the new S4HANA based processes, for instance, as well supported by Fiori UIs. So that is the choice of the customer, and here we do our best to support the best possibility depending on the individual priorities. But that would require, I would say, a further deep dive into the specific customer situation, because there is not one single answer on that question. So I think we see a lot of different variations of that transformation. We are prepared for all of them.
Okay, and lastly, do we have to decide either for S/4HANA Utilities or Cloud4Utilities, or can we also leverage both innovations?
Yes, maybe I can take that. Yes, as outlined a couple of times, you do have the possibility to decide which is the ideal combination. Of course, we are more than happy to have some dedicated discussions on that, because a recommendation is always very important for our customers. But from a sheer technology perspective, the S/4HANA, as mentioned several times, integrates with the native cloud solutions. You can also deploy the S/4HANA as a private cloud environment. But on the other hand, there is also the possibility to leverage the native cloud solutions as a standalone. So all the different combinations are really possible, but eventually it really depends on the individual situation of the customer. We have some experiences with customers, with productive customers, and we are more than happy to deep dive on the individual situation and provide here some guidance and some recommendations from our side.
So that means you can use the best out of two worlds if you want. So you can pick a little bit what you like most and combine it based on your own particular priority.
Okay. So, Holger, Stefan, thank you for your time and view of the SAP Utilities Roadmap. As always, deeply insightful session with your knowledge and experience. Thank you for today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.